Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for Core Yoga today. My name is Erica and I'm with UMBC Recreation. If you are new to this class, you do not have to be familiar with yoga or yoga poses. It's structured much like other exercise classes. We have a warm-up, the bulk of our practice where we're really targeting our core, picking up our heart rate, and then we have a cool down. The biggest difference, however, is at the end of our cool down, we remain on our backs in a period called final resting period or Shavasana. We lay flat on our back for about 3 minutes with our eyes closed in stillness. And not only is that important to let our bodies reset, have a rest, process all the movements and motions we put it through, but more importantly, I think it is also a time for self-reflection, to reflect what's going on with your life and your day. Yoga is not just about the physical movements we put in our body. It's a little deeper than that. It's about getting to know yourself better as well. So I encourage you to practice that part of the entire practice too. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body throughout practice. The class is meant to be challenging. You're more than welcome to take breaks if you need to, put on some music that you like, and practice with me. And of course, always check with your doctor before you start a new exercise plan. With that being said, we're going to start on our backs today. So if you start in a seated position in the center of your mat with your feet facing forward, knees bent. You can hold on to the back of your thighs and round your spine to ease yourself onto your back that way. Let the knees stay bent. Let them fall in towards one another. And place your arms on the floor at your sides, palms face up. And just breathe in this moment. Deepening the breath just a little bit. Sort of just letting go onto your mat, letting everything go, hanging as heavy as you can onto the floor. Still deepening the breath for another few rounds of breath. Then naturally fall back into your normal breathing pattern. Separate the knees so they're no longer touching, knees stacked over the ankles. Ankles are in line with the hips. Extend your right leg up towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers, hold on to the back of your thigh, press out actively through your heel. If the leg feels pretty tight here, you can put a gentle bend in the knee, still pressing out the heel, keeping the leg engaged. Just breathe into this stretch for a few moments. So in addition to our core targeting exercises, we're also going to have a little emphasis on legs. So relieving stiffness in the legs, strengthening the legs as well today. Now start to press out through the toes, feeling the stretch go down the front side of the leg now. Taking a few rounds of breath here as well. Then start to circle the foot, sticking with one direction, working with the ankle here, and then reverse directions. Until you find stillness. Begin to straighten the opposite leg onto the mat. If you need to further bend the knee of the extended leg, that's okay. Left leg is fully engaged, foot is flexed or pressing actively down into the mat. Raised leg crosses over to the left side of our mat, lowering our arms down to the floor at shoulder height, palms face up. Point actively out through the top leg, feeling the stretch in the leg, getting a twist, massaging our organs here. If you need a little less sensation for the leg, lower the toes down towards the top of your mat, so away from the face. And slowly lift the right leg back up towards the ceiling and slowly lower it onto the mat. Nice, slow, and controlled, keeping low back flat to mat. Bend both knees, returning the feet to the floor. Extend the left leg up towards the ceiling, holding on to the back of the thigh, pressing out through the heel. Few breaths here. Now point through the toes. Another few breaths here. Start to circle the foot, rolling around the ankle. Making sure to go both directions. And finding stillness. Begin to straighten the opposite leg onto the mat. Cross the raised leg over to the right side of the room. Arms return to shoulder height, palms face up on the floor. Pointing actively through left toes. Lifting left leg back towards the ceiling. Nice, slow with control, lowering it down to the mat. Low back is flat to floor. Bend the knees, planting feet back on the mat. Draw both knees in towards the chest, interlacing the fingers, holding below the knees to draw thighs close to body. Gently tucking the chin in towards the chest. If you're feeling any discomfort on the knees, you can hold on to the back of the thighs instead. Feet are side by side. Getting a nice stretch for the low back here and the neck. Whole spine, decompressing the spine. Let's gently start to rock side to side. Finding stillness. Begin to rock forwards and backwards. Gaining momentum here so you can rock yourself up to seated, coming into a cross leg position with your sits bones grounded to the floor, finding length through your spine. If it's uncomfortable for you to take a cross leg position, you can take the bottoms of the feet together instead, sliding heels away from the body. Find length through the spine, whichever position you're in. Fingertips are at the sides. Then round the spine, drop your chin to your chest, draw the belly in towards the body. Slowly start to lift and arch the spine, tilting your head up towards the ceiling, letting belly come forward. Keep repeating this rounding, dropping chin to chest, and arching, chin to ceiling. We're going to stick with this for a few moments as we loosen muscles around the spine and the neck and the shoulders. Start to tie the movement in with your breath. As you inhale, find the lift and arch. And as you round, exhale. A few more times. Starting to wake up the core here as well. Find stillness, spine long towards the ceiling. Bring your right arm up towards the ceiling, reach through the tips of the fingers, and exhale into a side bend, taking a few breaths here into the chest. Core is engaged, drawing close to the body, opening up the sides of the body. Deepening the breath. Inhale as you bring the raised arm back up straight to the ceiling, and exhale, returning fingertips to floor. Draw your breath in to bring your right arm, or your left arm, up to the ceiling. Exhale, side bend, hold here. Few breaths into the chest. Left ribs are reaching towards the ceiling, core is still engaged. Inhale to find the lift, exhale, hand to floor. Meet me in a tabletop position on the hands and the knees, wrists stacked under shoulders and knees stacked under the hips. Lift up to the tips of your fingers and extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Heel is in line with hip. Draw the belly in to flatten the back. Draw the right knee in towards your chest for a tabletop crunch. Round the spine, lift the knee and the body away from the mat. Drawing away, drawing everything in, holding here, not holding the breath. Keep that knee lifting higher, belly drawing towards the spine. Then extend the leg behind you. On your exhale, give me another crunch. Knee to chest, lifting away from the mat. Inhale to extend. Last time, exhaling to crunch into chest, then step the foot into lunge. Or place it if you need to, ankle below the knee, foot is in between the hands. Slowly draw the breath in through the nose as you lift the arms overhead, lifting chest. Exhale here. Relaxing shoulders down the back. Sending tailbone long to the floor, engaging your core. Finding length out through the crown of your head. Thighs are active as they energetically draw towards the midline of your body. And on your next exhale, bring your hands together and lower them down through heart center. Keep those legs locked in place, drawing towards the midline of your body as you draw belly closer towards the spine and begin to belly twist towards the right side of your mat. Keep shoulders relaxed away from ears. Keep spine long towards ceiling. Nice opening in the chest here, engaging and strengthening our core as it draws in towards our body and allows us to twist. Don't hold the breath. Slowly unwind to face forward. Deep breath in through the nose to lift both arms overhead. Exhale as you lower fingertips to floor. Step back into a tabletop position, hands and the knees. Stay up on the tips of the fingers for me. Extending left leg behind you, pointing through the toes, heel in line with hip. Draw the belly in towards the body. On your next exhale, tabletop crunch. Left knee draws in towards the chest. Round the spine, draw the belly in, lift away from the mat. Inhale, leg extends. Exhale to crunch, knee to chest. Inhale. Exhale, knee draws in. And step or place the foot into lunge, ankle below the knee. Slowly drawing breath in through the nose, lifting both arms overhead, exhaling here. Actively draw those thighs towards the midline of your body for stability, to keep those legs active. Nice active stretching for safety. Core is engaged. Hips are square towards the front of the mat. On your next exhale, hands come down through heart center, palms together. And on your next exhale, belly twist towards the left, keeping the length in the spine, core is engaged, shoulders relaxed away from ears. Slowly unwind, face forward. Deep breath in, arms up. Exhale, fingertips to mat. Step back into a tabletop position on your hands and your knees. Planch your hands flat to the mat. Lower down to puppy pose by dropping elbows to mat, stacked underneath the shoulders. Palms are face down to the floor, and head hangs heavy, gaze is between the knees. Getting a little lengthening in our spine and puppy pose. This is a rest position as we wind down, finishing up our warm-up here. Settle into child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch, settling hips all the way down to the heels, resting forehead on the mat. Separating the knees just enough to make space for the belly. second option for rest position. If you're uncomfortable in child's pose in the hips or the knees, you're welcome to take puppy pose at any time instead. Take a few full deep breaths here, filling up the sides and the back side of the body. Nice deep breaths to finish our warm-up. And on your back, next big inhale, meet me back in a tabletop position, hands in the knees. Turn the fingertips out to face the long edges of the mat. Fingertips are facing away from one another. Then gently rock side to side. Let's start to loosen up and warm up these wrists. Turn the fingertips forward and we'll start to make some circles. Stick with one direction for now. And be easy and gentle. Listen to your body, meaning being careful with yourself. Paying attention to sensations, knowing when you're creating a little too much. And we'll reverse direction. Then with one hand, make a fist and just make some circles and sort of wring the hand out. And do the same with the other. Fist, circles, wring the hand out. And then we'll just pause here for a beat. So for our plank sequence this week, we're going to do it a little differently, holding plank and forearm plank. So you're welcome to just watch me this first time through if you like, or you can practice with me. So I'll always give you a countdown so you know when our sequences are coming up, something along the lines of our sequence will start in 3, 2, 1. We'll start here and we'll hold our plank for 5 seconds. In plank position, fingers are spread nice and wide. Try to distribute the weight evenly through your hands out through the tips of your fingers. Pressing away from the mat, expanding through the shoulders. Thighs and glutes are engaged. Heels are in line with hips are in line with shoulders. So we'll hold for 5 seconds here. We'll lower down to forearm plank and we'll hold for 5 seconds here. Same thing with alignment. Oftentimes we have our hips too high in forearm plank. Just take a quick look back. Heels in line with hips in line with shoulders. We'll hold for 5 seconds here. After the 5 seconds, we'll take hip dips for 5, 4, 3, and so on down to 0. In hip dips, we're rocking over on the tips of our toes. If you're not familiar, hips rock to one side, up and over to the other. Then we'll lower down to our bellies all the way down, and we'll take the sequence from there. So we're going to tie that into our sequence. It might be a little choppy the first time through, but you'll see where it comes in, and we'll start to flow a little bit more. Start by lifting up to the tips of our fingers, making our way to standing. Extend your right leg behind you, point through the toes, heel in line with hip. Draw right knee in towards the chest, tabletop crunch. Step or place the foot into lunge. Left toes are tucked onto the mat. Lift left knee into air, lifting up to tips of pointer and middle finger and sending chest forward. Step up to the top of your mat into half lift. Hips are right over the ankles, hands to shins. Back is flat, about parallel with the floor. Holding here, drawing shoulders down the back. And hinging forward into forward fold by gently bending the knees, dropping ribs down towards the thighs, letting arms and head reach towards the floor. We'll take another few breaths here. There's quite a lot going on in this pose. Keep your focus on your breath. If the ribs are very far from the thighs, bend the knees a bit more to help protect the low back, making that compression. Hips stay actively reaching towards the ceiling, low bellies drawing in. Shake the head yes and no a few times, help the neck relax. And tuck your chin in towards your chest, and one vertebrae at a time, start to round the spine up to a standing position. Once you make it all the way up, stand nice and tall, shoulders drop down the back, gaze is forward. Puff out the chest a little bit, standing nice and tall like a warrior. On your next inhale, slowly bring both arms overhead, gaze is up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bring the hands together and lower them down through heart center. Hinge forward from the hips, back to forward fold. Gently bend the knees, drop ribs to thighs, arms and head reach towards the floor. Rise half lift by flattening the back, hands to shins. Step back into a plank position, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the feet back. Take a quick check at your alignment. We'll start our first sequence in 3, 2, 1. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Forearm plank. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hip dips for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down to your belly, tops of feet to mat, hands under shoulders, elbows up to ceiling. Lift the chest off the mat into baby cobra, using the strength of your core, not pressing your hands into the floor to lift the chest. And then press yourself into child's pose, hips to heels, forehead to mat. Slowly rise back to a tabletop position, lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, point through the toes. On your exhale, tabletop crunch, knee to chest, lift away from the mat. Step or place your foot into lunge. Right toes tuck onto the mat. Lift that knee into the air, lift up pointer and middle finger. Draw belly in, chest sends forward. Step up to the top of your mat into half lift, hands to shins, back is flat. Lower forward fold, ribs reach for the thighs, head reaches for the floor. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow, rounding your way up to standing, using your core. And once you make it up, stand nice and tall, puff out the chest a little bit. Next inhale brings the arms back overhead. Exhale, hands together down through heart center. Fall into forward fold, ribs to thighs, let the hands fall towards the floor. Rise half lift. Step your right foot back into a lunge position. On the ball of right foot, left knee is stacked right over the ankle. Bring the hands to your forward thigh, lifting the chest into high lunge, arms extend overhead. If the right leg feels particularly tight, creating a little too much sensation for your liking here, you can gently bend the knee. All hips are squared towards the front of the mat. All shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. Core is engaged for everyone. Deep breaths. On your next exhale, hands come together down through heart center. We're holding here, strengthening our legs. And on your next exhale, actively draw those thighs toward the midline of your body to find a twist over to the left side of your mat. Keep the spine nice and long towards the ceiling and shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Check in with your alignment. Forward knee is stacked right over the ankle. We'll unwind, deep breath in, extend both arms overhead. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Step back into a tabletop position, our plank position. And we'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Holding for 5. Don't hold the breath. Forearm plank. Holding for 5. Check the alignment. Hip dips for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down to your mat, hands under shoulders. Deep breath in through the nose, baby cobra, chest lifts. Exhale, child's pose, hips to heels. Take a few rounds of breath here. Quick rest position. Fill up the sides of the body, back side of the body. Front of the chest can feel a little compressed here, so just utilize all that extra space that you have on the back side of the body. Still finding your fullest breath. And on your next inhale, meet me back in a tabletop position, lifting up to the tips of your fingers. Right leg extends behind you. Exhale, tabletop crunch, knee to chest. Draw that belly in. See if you can give your knee a kiss this time. And step or place the foot into lunge. Step up to half lift, knee lifts, hands to shins. Lower to fold, ribs to thighs, head hangs heavy. Shake it a few times, yes and no. Make sure neck is relaxed. And slowly round your spine up to standing. Standing nice and tall with purpose at the top of your mat. Next inhale brings the arms overhead. Exhale brings hands to heart center. Hinge forward into forward fold, ribs to thighs, hands fall forward. Rise half lift, flatten the back. Step left foot back into lunge on the ball of the foot. Right knee stays over the ankle. Bring your hands to right thigh and extend the arms overhead, high lunge. Engage your core. Nice active thighs. Active glutes. On your next exhale, hands come down through heart center. Take a moment here, ground yourself. And on your next exhale, belly twist forward to the right. Spine stays long, even in the twist. Unwind to face forward. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Step back into a plank position, and we'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Holding for 5, 3, and 1. Forearm plank. Holding for 5, 3, and 1. Hip dips, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down to the mat. Deep breath in, baby cobra, chest lifts. Exhale, child's pose, hips to heels. Take a breather here. Just hang heavy onto your mat, let everything go in this rest position. Inhale as you rise to tabletop. Lean forward into Chaturanga, shoulders past the wrist, then bend the elbows, keeping them close to the body, bringing your chest down to the floor first, and then the hips. Bring your arms along the sides of your body, palms face up, turn your head to one side so you can rest on your cheek. Let the big toes touch, but let the heels fall away from one another. Wiggle the hips a little bit side to side. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale out through your mouth, just melt onto your mat. Wiggling the shoulders away from the ears. If you'd like a bit deeper stretch for your neck, you can turn your head so you're resting more on your ear than you are your cheek. Gently turn your head to the opposite side, starting on your cheek first. Then proceed to rest on the ear if you did so on the opposite side. Now bring your chin to the mat. Place your hands beneath the shoulders, elbows up to ceiling. And press yourself back to child's pose, hips to heels. Option for a rounded variation by taking arms along the sides of the body, rolling shoulders down towards the floor, forehead on the mat. Slowly find your way to a seated position with your legs extended down the length of your mat. Hips are grounded on the center of your mat, and feet are flexed. Bend your right knee, placing a foot on the floor. Left arm holds on to bent knee. Opening the twist, twisting from the belly first and then the ribs, placing the free hand directly behind you, fingertips to floor. Gazing out over the shoulder towards the back of the mat. Left foot is flexed. Spine is long towards the ceiling. And slowly unwind, turn forward, and straighten the bent knee. Left knee bends, foot to mat. Right arm holds on bent knee, opening the twist from the belly, the ribs, free hand, fingertips to floor. Slowly unwind and turn forward and straighten the bent knee. Bend both knees now, feet to floor. Ground your sits bones onto the mat, let the chest come forward. Place your hands on the back side of your thighs. Float the feet off the mat, crossing the ankles. Keep the spine nice and long. Keeping with the trend with our twist todays and our hip dips, we're going to take a few Russian twists. Bring the hands towards heart center, holding on to one another. Then twist to one side and gently twist to the other. We're going to keep this up for about 15 seconds. If you're tired, you can skip. No pressure. Little last core work before we make our way down onto our backs. Just another 2 or 3 seconds here, and we'll finish by planting feet back to the mat and hands to the mat. Fingertips are facing toward the toes, hands are settled behind the hips. Press into the feet as well as the hands, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling into reverse plank. Creating a stretch for the front side of the body, the shoulders, the arms. We're holding here, chin is lifted from the chest. Then we'll slowly bring our hips back down to the mat. Place your hands on the back side of your thighs once again. Then round your spine until you're flat on the mat. And draw both knees in towards the chest, interlacing the fingers, holding below the knees, drawing thighs close to body. Hold for a few breaths here. Send your feet to the floor, release arms to your sides. Draw the right knee in towards your chest. On the right hand, take your peace fingers, pointer and your middle finger, wrap it around right toe. Start to extend the right leg up towards the ceiling, pressing out through the heel. Leg does not have to straighten completely. We're going to hold here. Low back is pressed down towards the floor. And gently release your grip on the big toe and cross the ankle into figure 4. So ankle crosses over left knee. If you look down at your legs, it should look like an upside down 4. Getting some opening for our hips here. Might feel a little sensation here already, and you're welcome to stay here. If you'd like a little more sensation, float your left foot off the mat, flexing both feet, keeping ankles in line with knees. And you can thread the hands through and hold on to the back of left thigh for a little support. Gently release, returning both feet back to the mat. Left knee draws in towards the chest, taking peace fingers on the left hand, grabbing on to big toe. As we exhale, we'll extend left leg up to ceiling, pressing out through heel and holding here. Gently releasing, crossing ankle into figure 4. Optional to float right foot off the mat. Slowly return both feet to the mat. Draw both knees in towards the chest. Let the knees fall to the right side of your mat into reclined spinal twist. Arms are along the floor at shoulder height, palms face up towards the sky. Head looks out over left shoulder. Gently close the eyes. As we prepare our body for final resting pose. Slowly draw the knees back to the center of your chest. Let them fall over to the left. And head turns to the right. Slowly return the knees to the center of the chest. Draw thighs close to body, holding on to the legs below the knees or on the back of the thighs, whatever is most comfortable for you. Lift your head to meet your knees. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold the breath at the top. Squeeze the body nice and tight into a tiny little ball. Toes, fingers, face, legs, arms, everything. And as you exhale, release your hold and lay flat on the mat, separating your legs and arms nice and wide, taking up as much space as you can. Eyes are closed. Palms are face up towards the ceiling. Toes are falling away from one another. Relax the muscles in your face, around the brow. Relax the jaw. Take a really slow and deep breath in through your nose, and even slower breath out through the mouth. And as you exhale, letting body melt onto the floor, letting everything go onto the floor. Your focus stays on the breath. Following every natural inhale and exhale, allow the breath to guide you further into relaxation. If your focus has wandered, bring your attention back to your breath. Allowing the breath to ease the body, ease the mind. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Welcome movement back to your body. Slowly roll over to the right side of your body and take a moment of stillness on your side using your arm as a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered towards the floor, slowly press yourself up into any comfortable seated position. As always, to finish class, we take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. This week, we're taking a 4-count breath. We'll inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 4. If after the first round of breath, a 4 count comes easily to you, I encourage you to extend your count to a count of 5. Don't sweat it if we lose pace together. So that we all at least start on the same breath. Let's exhale, pressing all the breath we have out of the body. Breathing in through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, mouth, 3, 2, and 1. Breath in, 2, 3, 4. Breath out, 3, 2, and 1. Last time, 2, 3, and 4. Breath out, 3, 2, 1. Take a second to thank yourself for taking the time out of your day for this practice. I'd like to thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light that exists within me that honors and respects the light that exists within each and every one of you. Thanks so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a bit challenging. If you did enjoy this class, there is a new version that is aired every Sunday. If you're looking for something a little easier, not a little more challenging, you could try my Vinyasa Yoga class, and that is aired every Thursday. Also, I don't know if the audio picked up that little bit of scuffling in the background at the end, but I will apologize on behalf of my bearded dragon. She's cozying in for the night. She likes to dig in her corner of her terrarium before she closes her eyes. So I apologize for that. I hope you guys think that was cute and not totally gross. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.